Hi everyone, this is Olga again. Today we are talking about reframing, what this concept is, how it relates to how our brain works, how we can use it to make our lives better, and I will be giving you a very specific example, very easy to relate to, on how we can reframe our to-do list so that it's a lot easier to prioritize what you want to do and what will give you the most satisfaction in the long run. If you find this video useful, please like and subscribe. It really helps not only for you to get more content like this, but also for others to discover this video, hopefully make their own lives better as well. Before we go much further, let's address the big distraction in the frame here, in our frame. The Star Destroyer. I hope it doesn't destroy the video too much for you, but we are preparing to move to Australia. And Daniel has started disassembling his Lego collection, and the Star Destroyer is next, so it's here on the dinner table, so that he can start working on that and putting it back into the box. I will be disassembling my Lego collection. That's pretty much the only item I have, so I still have plenty of time. All right, let's get into it. What is reframing and why is it important for us in coaching? We need to start a little bit further back, and that's about how our brains work. So the way we talk about something both reflects but also forms the way we think about that. So the connection is both ways. The way we talk about something influences the way we think about something. The way we think about something influences the way we talk about it. They're interdependent. I know this as a linguist. I've been studying languages for many, many years. And every time you learn a new language, you also learn the way people think, people for whom this language is their first language. And it's very clear in linguistics as well. Like one of the classic examples of this phenomenon is that the rainbow is split up in different ways in different languages. I'll give you an example between English and Russian. In English, you have blue. In Russian, we have two words to distinguish between the different shades of blue. The light blue is голубой, the dark blue is синий. We don't use a separate word to identify which type of blue is in front of us. It's not just one blue. It's either голубой or синий, depending on the intensity of the color. The same applies to everything else. In coaching, the work of the coach often is not to bring insights. The insights happen on their own. We're just creating the opportunities for them to happen and the right circumstances for them to happen. And one of the things how we do it is by reflecting back. A lot of this, how we think about things, it does come up in the way we talk about those things, but 95% of the time, we're not even aware of it. We just think that we are talking about something. We don't notice the form, how we are talking about it. And that reflects the way we think about ourselves, the way we think about other people, the way we think about our possibilities of what is in general possible in life, of how things should be, etc., etc., etc. And all of that, a coach can reflect to you. Did you hear how you talked about it? Is that the way you want to talk about it? What does it mean to you hearing it back when I say it? I'll give you a few examples, just again to make it a bit easier to understand what we're talking about, because right now it's all very theoretical. You try something new, you fail at it. There are two simple ways you can be talking about it. You could say, I'm a failure, this is not for me, I'm no good. Or you could say, I didn't succeed this time, maybe I need to try again, maybe I need to learn something more, maybe I need to ask for help. This is completely different approaches. This is completely different ways of thinking about the same thing and of talking about the same thing. For example, I've never tried dancing. I went for a class, was rubbish, didn't really catch up the choreo, the routine at all. Everyone around me were way better than me. I can think to myself, well, clearly dancing is not for me. I have not got the body for the dancing. Or I could tell myself, maybe those other people have been here before and have danced many times before. Maybe they've danced for many years. Maybe I don't want to compare myself to them, but maybe I want to try it again and see if I can do better next week. Now, I want us to focus today on one very specific example that I know many people can relate to. Most of us have a to-do list. It can be in our head, it can be in our phone, it may be synced across all of your devices, it may be even in a good old notebook, handwritten, can be anything. On our to-do lists, there are things. And the way we think of them can be different. Oftentimes we think of them as things we have to do or things we should do. I should do this, this, and this today. I have to do this, this, and this today. Not so often we have items on our to-do lists that are things that we want to do or things that we choose to do. And the difference is big. Words are important. Our choice of words is important. So, if your to-do list looks like the list of things you have to do, what does it mean? It means there are things that happened to you from the outside that sort of somehow landed on you, and now you have to deal with them. There they are. You didn't have any control over them. You didn't choose to do them. They're just there. The same with should. The should is a lot more loaded with some sort of obligation, moral obligation. I should do this. It can also be loaded with expectations. They can be very specific. Somebody else wants me to do it, so I should do it. Like my boss wants me to do this and that, so I should do it or I have to do it. They can be more broad and less easy to grasp, like social expectations. The only real shoulds and have tos are in situations where you promised you were going to do something and now you are obliged because you said you were going to do it. So you took the responsibility onto yourself, you committed to doing something. That's the only real should or have to or must. All of the a good mother should, a good employee should, a responsible person should, etc., they have been pushed onto us by all these social expectations. And once we recognize all these have tos and shoulds for what they are, something that is external to us, we can start looking at them, examining them for what they are, and then making decisions and choices. Especially with the social expectations, some of them might very well align with our values and with what we think a good person should do. We can, for example, think that a responsible person comes on time. And we may agree with that. It may be our value to respect other people's time and to be on time for any agreed meetings. And then we say, okay, yeah, I feel like this is something I want to do. I choose to be on time because this is important to me. Not because I have to, because I don't have to be. But if I don't do something, or if I do something, there is always consequences. And that's the thing. When we know what those things are, and we are clear about them, we can then also be clear about the consequences of doing them or not doing them. If I want to be on time, it means the consequences I have to plan, I have to. See, I slept as well. I want to then plan my time so that I can be on time to wherever I want to go. And also it means that, I have to be, I want to be more careful with how I go into things, and sometimes I may need to stop something that I'm doing halfway or midway, stop it, put it aside because there is something else that I'm going to be doing soon and I want to be on time for that. There is a consequence. If I decide that being on time is not my value, I actually don't mind, and I don't really care if other people are late as well. I think that what really matters to me is being spontaneous, being in the moment, being really in the flow. And then, yes, there is the consequences. Some people may be offended. Some people may be unhappy. But again, if I'm clear about it, I can be clear about my choices. I can accept the consequences of my choices. Then I can be okay with it. Maybe all of my friends really love the flow and being spontaneous, and they don't mind people being late. Well, they find other things to do. Maybe they don't wait. Maybe they are also late. Who knows? But again, when I'm choosing things, I'm clear about the consequences of my choices. Or I can be clear about the consequences of my choices. It's not the same if I have to be on time. Why? Who said that? And what does it mean if I'm not? It's like I'm going to be punished for it. But by who? We are all adults. We can't really be punished, well, unless you're breaking the law. But again, laws are something that we as societies have agreed to. So we took the responsibility as we grow up and become full members of society and gain legal independence. We agree to abide by the laws of this society. If we feel that a certain law is wrong, we can go to the courts, we can go to the legislative assemblies of our societies and say this law is wrong, it needs to be amended. So again, we can agree to do things differently. But once we've agreed to do them, that's when we take responsibility onto ourselves to do them in that way. So what I'm suggesting with your to-do list is to reframe it not to things you have to do and not to things you should do, but to things that you want to do and the things that you chose to do or choose to do in this moment. I hope it's clear by now that when we choose something or when we want to do something, it's aligned with our values, we take agency of our own lives. We decide what's going to happen throughout our day. We decide what lands on that to-do list. It's not pushed onto us anymore. It's what we choose to put on it. You might be thinking, but what about things that I have to do, but I really don't want to? Like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to, clean up the flat. Whatever it is for you, there may be things that you don't want to do, but they're still on your to-do list. Then my question would be, why are they there? There may be a reason. I bet there is a reason. You may not enjoy going to work, but you may well enjoy receiving the paycheck. And sometimes there are things that we choose to do, not because we enjoy the process, but because we want the result. And again, once we start thinking about them as choices, we have more agency. Okay, maybe I do not enjoy going to this work. Well, what other things I could do to bring me the same result as in the same amount of money landing in my bank account? Luckily, we are more complex than just instant gratification, because otherwise our societies would not have functioned at all and we would not survive. We can choose to do things that don't necessarily feel very pleasant and very enjoyable, but give us what we want in the long term. I think an easy example of this specific thing for many people is being active, being physically active, doing something sporty. A lot of people don't enjoy it, but a lot of people do it because we want a fit body. We want to feel like we're healthy, fit, we can go about our days and not feel pains and fatigue all over. Again, once I realize it's a choice and it's the end result I want and I don't enjoy the process, it opens up the possibilities because there is many ways of keeping fit. I don't have to just go to the gym and push the weights. There are many other things I can do. I can go to a Zumba class, I can do karate, I can do running, I can do swimming, I can cycle, I can join a local football team. There's endless options. I can just go on long walks with my dog. It doesn't matter. But there is endless choices of things I can do to be fit. It's not just one thing that I have to do. And once we open it up, we can find other ways of getting to that end goal that we want, making it in a way that the process is also more enjoyable. Or some of the things we just may decide that we don't want to do because the result for us is not that important, or maybe we can reach it in a completely different way. Like if I don't like cleaning the house, I just hate cleaning the house, don't like it at all. I can agree with my partner that maybe we take turns and then I will have weeks when I don't need to clean the house. Or maybe we decide that we're going to hire someone who's going to clean it for us. And that's okay too. It's okay to delegate things we don't want to just get the results that we do want. If you remember the old saying, there's many roads that lead to the top of the hill, this is exactly what I'm talking about. But if we believe that one specific road is something we have to do, we may be completely blind and we don't see all of the other road options out there. Now, once you start thinking of your to-do list as something that you want to do and something that you choose to do, it's a lot easier to prioritize. What do you want to do in this moment? First of all, it's something you want. So you can just connect with your heart and feel like, what is it that I want the most? And the other bit is you can look at the end results that you want and feel, what is the most important for me out of those end results? And then you can prioritize a lot easier than just things you have to do. So what is most important for me right now, and what will bring me the most satisfaction in the long run? Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of that and how it lands with you. I'm really curious to hear from you. I really want to make this channel useful to you. Next time we will be talking about being lazy and what could be hiding behind it actually, because it's never about being lazy. And stay tuned. I'll see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week.